And I'm quite pleased to have with me right now, and with Peter, Jesse Walker, somebody that I've known actually for maybe 10, 15 years, who's counting. But I started a music magazine with this guy many years ago called Vinyl, and we still remain in contact talking about stuff within our community. And right now he's on to talk about some of the projects that he's involved with, so welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for inviting me to the show. It's nice to see, like I said, I've been working with Zeeta for many years. It's nice to see you now on television, because when we worked, we were on print, so it was like a very anonymous kind of thing. And now you're a superstar, so it's nice to see.
You've known her how long?
I've known her 12 years.
Ooh, did she come with a manual? Did you, you and I will talk after.
Yeah, I wrote the book.
Okay, we'll talk after.
That's my Christmas gift to you.
Stop.
Thank you.
Right. Moving right into the interview, let's get right into it. Now, we started Vinyl Magazine when we were kids, basically. I was 15, you were maybe 23.
Yeah, something like that.
Something along those lines. Now, it was a wonderful experience, but you've always been a part of this urban Montreal community. What have you done, in your opinion, to help hone this community of ours?
Well, it's funny. I mean, I started in the community straight out of Dawson, doing Slightly Illegal Productions, which is basically Montreal's longest-running urban advertising agency. So I've done a lot of the flyers and the ad campaigns for a lot of the different urban events, and from there we progressed from there to the urban events in Vinyl Magazine, and since then I've been doing a lot of my own urban events, doing a lot of concerts, and doing Slightly Illegal Media, which concentrates on doing the press releases and media for urban concerts.
So let me rewind for a second. A lot of the program campaigns that you are involved with, I would like to bring to light, because many people won't know necessarily the brainchild behind doing something. So what are some of the things that you've actually been able to say you're credited to in terms of logos or advertising or publicity, all of that? What have you done?
I mean, the longest running thing, which we started with Vinyl Magazine, of course, is Sweat, which is the annual carnival party, and that's been going on now for 12 years. Since then, we've been doing a lot of concerts. We just brought down Smith & Wesson, we brought down Method Man and Redman, we're bringing down Big Daddy Kane on December 19th, so a lot of the old school stuff, and you know, just working on a lot of the concerts that I want to work on. Like, I've been doing flyers for a lot of customers for a lot of years, and I enjoy it, and now I've been doing, you know, my own things, like the old school events that I enjoy doing.
So would you even consider yourself a consultant of sorts? Do you actually sit down with your clients and say, well, I believe this market segment and all these types of things, or do you just take what they say?
Well, I think that you have to understand, it's an ad agency, like any commercial ad agency that you'll see. It's an ad agency. It's different that you're talking about specific events in different clubs, but it still is an ad agency. So you're still talking to them, and you're forming plans, and the best way for them to get their message across. So the messages I get across is a little bit more urban, and it might be on a flyer that you might get at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's still the message, because in Montreal we don't have any mainstream media to be able to really get the message out for a lot of the stuff. We have no print media, you know what I mean? We have radio shows, we have television shows such as yours, but there's no real print media that people can advertise. You're not going to see a lot of these events in the Gazette. So it's agencies like mine that are able to get that message across.
What is the rate of return on a flyer? Because, you know, sometimes people see a situation with a flyer and they think it's here today, it might be on a windshield, people hand them out, but do people really pay attention? How do you quantify that?
I quantify by saying that you should get about between a 5 and 10% return, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but if you print 3,000 flyers and you get 300 people, that's considered a good rate of return. These days, the market has been changing a lot over the last couple of years, because you have Facebook, you have MySpace, you have like email blasts, so you have a lot more electronic media, and you know, we have to change it. Like, we have to do videos now, and we'll have to do like flash animation and stuff that like 5 years ago nobody even heard about. You know what I mean? 5 years ago you didn't even have Facebook or MySpace. So that part of the market is changing, and the underground media is able to get out a lot more now, because you're able to do it individually. So that part of it is good.
So what do you find is the most challenging part for you to be somebody in this community that is possibly respected, but more so hard to find yourself in this whole big melange of social utility groups and all of these things that are available to everybody else?
Well, I mean, when I'm doing other people's projects, it's not important who I am. It's important to get their message across. So I have to sit there and do their ad campaigns the way they want to do it. Even if I don't want to do it that way, it's their message. So it doesn't matter, you know, when I put my logo on a flyer, it's very small, because it's not important who I am. It's important that their message is out. Which is one of the reasons I started doing my own projects, because there's certain things that I want to do and I enjoy doing, and the only way I'm going to be able to do them is to do them myself.
But even though the customer's always right, per se, you have a knowledge in what you're doing and what works. So how do you get them to agree to certain things that they might say, not necessarily what I want to do, but you know will work for them?
I mean, it's a question of, like, you know, I worked with a lot of my clients over the years, and you know, they send me the information they want, and a lot of times it's very broad. It's like, okay, we want to have a picture of this performer who's coming for this concert, and we have this, and then it's my job to be able to glean the different information, do it, put it all together in one small package, and then from there, you know, send it out. They approve it, they don't approve it, and we just go from there. So it's just like any other ad campaign where you're basically given an idea and you have to go from there.
Well, we're actually running out of time, which is terrible, because there's a few other things I wanted to ask, but really quickly, if you can really quickly let me know some of the challenges that you feel that you're trying to overcome right now in terms of being a flyer guy.
Just the fact that there's very few outlets to be able to broadcast and show your message. So it's like, for me, it's very tricky. Sometimes I'll design something and I know that a lot of people are not seeing it just because there's no places for them to put it out there. There's no urban magazine to be able to publish it in. There's no mainstream radio to broadcast it in. So for me, you know what I mean, the social networks are great, but, you know, it'd be nice to have more.
Well, I really want to thank Jesse Walker for being in studio with us. Unfortunately, our time is up, and
you and I will talk after.
Yeah.
And we're definitely getting off right now. Thank you very much. We'll be back with Justice talking about holiday treats from the South Caribbean. I'm very excited. He's got some food for us. We'll be back.